Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Ball, and today we're going to take a look at my black locust trees. They're in all different stages of life, all under 2 years old, but some were grown strictly inside, some have gone outside to inside, uh, mainly specimens, but I do have one forest planting of them. So I'm going to update you on all my black locusts. We're going to prune them down and get them ready for the spring season. So that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, y'all. So a real quick look at a work in progress. I planted in this bird feeder, drilled some holes, and it just looks terrible right now because the black locusts and the crepe myrtles that are in there, there's like 5 and 3, something like that. They have some new leaves coming in, some are dropping, some are budding up. So it's a really young planting, but it's growing, it's going. We'll check on that again in fall. All right, y'all. So this is my black locust that was grown from seed completely outside. It grew outside and then was put in the basement greenhouse back in November, late October. And so I believe it's dormant and not dead, but it is its first year that it would be coming out of dormancy. So I have no experience with this tree like this. So what I want to do, I let it grow nice and tall last year. It didn't divide that much, and we have 3 trunks. So this little guy here, I'm just going to nip the very tip so that can even up with the other 2. And then the other 2, I'm just going to take down to relative about the same height. Boom, boom, and boom. I went to put this on the turntable and I picked it up and I must have overwatered it because the water came pouring out of it, so I quickly dropped it up in the sink. All right. All right, y'all. So here we have, this is a really unique planting because when my black locusts came up, I had them planted in these tiny little biodegradable pouches, and some of them came up way too high too quickly, so they were just like long, stringy, and coming out of the bag. They couldn't stand up on their own. And with seedlings, you don't want to mess with that trunk at all. That live vein, that's the only source, feeding the tree. And so I didn't know what to do with this one specifically. I literally just laid it in this pot, and every time I water this avocado plant, this is an avocado tree that's been pruned a few times, every time I would do that, this thing had such shallow roots it would literally float around the pot, but it kept growing. It stayed green, and I'm like, okay, if this thing survives, it survives. And then eventually it threw some roots down and it stopped floating every time I watered it, and then it started to establish itself, and it really gave this really cool and unique, I'll give you a zoom in later, trunk. I have it planted down way too low now, so when I do repot it, it'll expose that trunk a lot better. So anyways, I don't really know what I was saying other than this thing is a survivor, and it has a really cool story that I'll always remember. So if it does continue on, say in 20 years, I'll still remember that story, because there's no reason why this tree should be here. Other trees have perfect lighting, perfect soil, perfect everything, no transplanting, and they'll just wither up and die. You know what I mean? So I had treated this for spider mites a while ago, and I don't think I washed the solution off properly following it, so the sun kind of scorched it. So that's why I've got a bunch of branches with some gnarly looking leaves that are falling off, and then some nice new green growth. So taking a look at this thing, it's got a really cool branch down here. It comes back and around. I think it just gets a little leggy up top, so I'm just going to start taking it down. The beautiful thing about black locusts is they really bud back nicely. I have defoliated, plenty of them. They come back. Some I thought were dead, but all of a sudden come out of dormancy, start growing again. This one has never been outside. That little landscape planting that looks horrific right now, but I promise will be dope in the future. That one goes in and out. gonna nip the tip here. Taking out some more of the damaged branches. There's been new growth since then. It looked really rough for a while. I even asked, like, what do I do, guys? And everybody told me to wait until late winter, early spring. So here we are. I might be a little early, but whatever. Really do kick off a lot of branches, and it's kind of like my blue jacaranda, where it will bend for the sun and reach and give you some nice curving, nice sway to your trunks and branches. Getting dull on me? I did some deadwood work yesterday with these, and I think they haven't been replaced or sharpened in 2 years. I think that finally did them in. We're struggling getting through these tiny little branches. And these were $6 2 years ago, so I've definitely got my money's worth. Continuing on, I haven't really done anything to this, so this is the first time I'm really getting a look at it. This branch kind of fits the rest of the tree where it's odd, and then this just seems to, like, it's doing way too much too late, if that makes any sense. So I think let's at least take this top part off and then look. I thought I might want to keep this, but now I don't. Really bring it back and make it earn its space here. So that'll take over front and center. Then I should shorten you back. I like how it goes down here, so why don't we go there? You out. I got Alexa playing me some Zen music right now. there's other Marines out there and you haven't checked out whether you'd like bonsai or not, or Marines that are no longer serving, it's difficult, speaking from experience, that your entire young adult life, everything you're taught is to kill and murder and just be tough as nails, crazy, ready to strike at any time. United States Marine, best job in the world. However, when we are freed into the civilian world, you just let go, like, okay, well, all of that's wrong in the civilian world. You can't act like that, you can't do that. You're gonna be way too intense for anybody. So, now I got out in 2008, it's 2020, so 12 years later, I'm listening to Zen music and doing bonsai, but it never leaves you. So it really does. It takes me a lot to relax. So I got to do a lot of exercise and a lot of things. Anyways, so yeah, I was medically retired back in 2008 out of the Marine Corps. Otherwise, I would be coming up on my 20-year retirement, full retirement shortly. So I spent about 8 years in and was medically retired as a staff sergeant. So even though I got messed up, it was still worth serving my country. Best company in the world, United States Marines. And probably your worst enemy. All right. Oh, so I'm done with that one. I'll get you to zoom in on the trunk later. So this is more of a straight up trunk. It was growing huge and long and growing across the window, and I was just letting it do its thing last year, probably middle of the summer, and then it got a terrible dose of spider mites too. And so I pruned it back, and it doesn't really have an identity yet. It's more like in recovery phase, and I don't know what I want to keep or not. That's just way too tall. Yeah, I don't like that either. Okay, well, left just a couple of leaves on this one, and now it just looks like a stick, but it's getting some nice texture. It forks here, okay, and then it forks up here again. Okay, so what I'm hoping to get is a nice structure over here, and then maybe a lower weeping branch coming out this way. So let me give you a close-up on this trunk, and then you'll get at it. Okay. See that thing? I didn't wire that. You know, I don't wire. I don't even know who would choose to wire something like that, so it's just really cool, gnarly, lower down. So that one is kind of cray, but I think probably 2-3 years down the road, if I could keep these, each branch having its own curvature and flow, it all kind of like asymmetrically matches, I think it'll really turn into a cool tree. And then you have this annoyingly conservative avocado plant. You see where I've cut it before, and luckily it actually budded back and gave me some new leaves. So right now that looks good. If the leaves get any larger, I'll probably prune it back. All right, y'all. So that's going to do it for today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Black locust, a lot of fun. It germinates at a high rate. They grow quickly, and they grow back quickly upon pruning. So if you're liking bonsai and you're thinking about germinating some seeds, that would be at the top of my list. Have a great day, y'all.